Welcome everyone to another Phys Ed Summit session, Phys Ed Summit 2016. My name is Jonathan Jones and I'm going to be the moderator for this session. Just a reminder, we are live in the Tassel. So if you would like to participate in this session, ask questions, talk to other people who are participating in this session, please make sure you get into that Tassel link, which is located in your conference program, and participate in the conversation. Ask questions. I'll be sure to ask Marquel the questions that you ask during the session. In case there is a technical difficulty, if you're watching in Tassel, please let me know and I will fix it as soon as I can. If we are in a situation where we have to stop the presentation and create a new Google Hangout, again, just stay in the Tassel. I'll upload the new link into the Tassel and then I'll tell you when to refresh your screen and then we will be back online. So without any further ado, here is Marquel Hatcher, who is a fantastic PE teacher and he's actually in my district and I'm looking forward to hearing what he has to say.
All right, hello everybody. My name is Marquel Hatcher. First, I'm excited to be here. Just excited to be part of a movement as far as physedagogy goes and promoting good or best practices as far as physical education, and also wearing pink and awareness or promoting awareness for breast cancer. So before I get into the presentation, I just want you to as you watch the presentation, I've kind of like documented my journey in incorporating Bootcamp into my classes. So I'll explain as we go. I started really small and I'll bring you up to where I am right now. So with no further ado, let's get right into it. So I'll share my screen. All right, so again, name of my presentation is StudentFit, how to incorporate Bootcamp into your PE class. So just a little bit about me. Again, my name is Marquel Hatcher. This is my 11th year of teaching physical education. I've done elementary all 10 of my years. I did 8 years at regular public school. Now I'm at a K-5 charter school in Prince George's County, Maryland. I'm also a ACE certified group fitness instructor who specializes in bootcamp classes. Have a master's in exercise science and also have my bachelor's in exercise science. So here's my vision. What I'd like to do is take the world that's on the left with the adults and link it to the world with the children that is on the right. I use the same motivational techniques and cues for the adults like I do for the children. We play games and we make it fun. Now, just pardon me for getting on a soapbox, but you know, we always hear, you know, real world connections and math and science and other subjects. But when we talk about physical education, there's a lot of misconceptions about what goes on in physical education. There's a lot of people that think we just play games, that is easy to do, and it's really not easy to do. And I also want people to know that people do exercise in the real world. So here is our connection to the real world. We are making people healthier So I'm taking what I do on a part-time basis and bringing it into my gym to make it fun and also to increase my students' knowledge of fitness. So my first boot camp experience, this was about a year ago. As I said, I documented all of my experience. I had no idea that I would be presenting this. So it's awesome that this came together this way. So the instructor I had put this up in front of our whole class. Again, like I said, this was my first experience. And if you notice on here, there's a lot of movements that we as physical educators already do in class. There's hopping, skipping, broad jumps, side shuffle, push-ups, some bear crawls, crab walks. And when I saw this, I thought it was just so awesome. Like, I'm like, wow, like I can do this in my class. I can take this right here and take it to my class and my students will love it. Like, it totally motivated me to bring this to my class. And this was even before I started teaching boot camp. I was just participating in it. So why would you want to incorporate boot camp into your class? Well, number one, for classroom management, if you're doing stations and everything's looking like a well-oiled machine, you look great as a teacher. Your principal comes in, they see that your management is great. And also, if your management is great, your students are able to learn and take away more things from your class. Secondly, you can address multiple standards in your class and reinforce some of your previously taught skills. Third, as I said, this is a different approach for teaching fitness concepts. Every year, I'm always looking for something new to incorporate in my class. So as I said, this is different. It also helps to improve your social relationships of your students, because you'll see later, some of the games that I include will foster cooperation and teamwork. And the last 2 points, really important. We want to increase our students' interest in fitness. So if they're interested in the fitness, they're more likely to participate, and it's going to be fun. So, as I said, this is my documentary. I've gone in order. So I'm going to go from showing you how I do warm-ups to games, and lastly, to how I incorporate boot camp into my fitness unit. So most importantly, as I said before, classroom management is important before you teach anything. If you don't have good classroom management, your lessons will not go well. So how do you organize your teaching environment for boot camp? You want to set clear expectations in the beginning. You want your students to know exactly what they're supposed to do. So you want to start off by practicing, and you want to start really, really small, especially if you're not too sure about what you're doing. Secondly, you want to think about, how are you grouping your students? Are you doing the activity as a whole group with your whole class? Are you putting the students in small groups? I put squads here. I know squads are kind of old school, but squads work really well with these type of activities. And lastly, are you going to pair your students with partners? Partner games also work well, especially for the students that may be shy. They're uncomfortable with participating in front of large groups, especially as you get into 5th grade and 6th grade and so on. Partner activities work really well. Then you want to think about your activities. Are you going to just do boot camp in your warm up? Are you going to teach through games, or are you going to go the more traditional route and have stations? you want to have a clear activity area. So if you have cones, poly spots, pictures, to, you know, set your boundaries and create your playing area. Manage your transitions. Use your music, have a timer or whistle. In traditional boot camp, normally the instructor has a timer. Stations are about 1 minute, 1 minute 15. The instructor says rotate after that station's over. And big piece, you want to consider the equipment that you're going to use for your class. So important vocabulary, AMRAP. I teach the students this all the time. You'll see it in the next slides. Just as many reps as possible. You want to discuss sets and repetitions. Important concept, the FIT principle: frequency, intensity, time, type. I include WOD, it's just the workout of the day. And the most important piece is the components of fitness. That's the why. You want to tell the students why. Why are you doing push-ups? Why are you doing squats? Why do I have you doing a burpee? And most recently, I'm not sure how true this is, but there's a rumor that power is going to be now a fitness, a component of a health-related component of fitness. I'm not sure how true that is. If anyone knows, please let me know. So as I said, you'll see in the upcoming slides how I've gone from small steps to big steps. So step number one, if you want to include boot camp in your warm-ups, as you saw on that board, there were different locomotor skills that we could do as a class. So I put that into my class. When they come in, they enter the teaching space, and I just have the students jog in a circle. And instead of just doing boring laps, I add locomotor skills. So I may say skip, for a couple seconds, slide, hop, jump, and run. If that's what you want to do, keep that as your warm up. You can stop right there. That'll be the end of it. But if you want to go to the second step, after they're done their warm up in the class, I have the students stand in squads to keep it traditional for boot camp, or if you have another assigned space, you can do it that way. And then my next part is I project the second part of the warm up. If you don't have a projector, you can use some chart paper to display this next part of the warm up that you're about to see. So here's what I do. I have a workout of the day. I pick 3 to 4 exercises that will cover major muscle groups. So as you see here on the screen, students will do 4 burpees, 8 sit-ups, 12 air squats, then run 1 lap, and they'll repeat this sequence for 5 minutes. So in the beginning, when you first introduce this to your students, of course, you have to introduce the exercises, model the exercises. You want to show your students the progressions and also the regressions for the exercises. And then at the bottom, as you see, I have the AMRAP for 5 minutes. Gradually build your way up. You may want to start at 2 minutes, and then as kids get more accustomed to the intensity of these exercises, move it up to 3 minutes, 4 minutes, 5 minutes. But as far as the repetitions, you want to keep the repetitions small because you want them to still participate. You want to keep their interest. And I have up in the first bullet, when I first did this, like I said, I just started picking a few exercises. Then I started to get more purposeful. So, you can change these exercises, and say your students are struggling on their push-ups or their curl-ups. So you could take the burpees out, put the push-ups in there, and your students that struggle on the push-ups, as everyone else is working, this allows you to move around, and you can assist those students with their push-ups or their curl-ups to help them correct their form and gain confidence. So as you get towards that fitness gram, they'll do, better or improve their performance. And the last point I want to make about this slide is that this is all self-paced, which is great. The students can move at their own pace. They're going to see other kids moving hard, so they're going to try to move hard, but they are fully in control of this activity right here. The only thing they don't control is the time for when you say to stop. Questions, Jonathan?
Yeah. So you have model the progressions. I think we all know what certain progressions are when it comes to different exercises and different skills.
Yes.
Can you give us an example of what do you mean by a regression?
Okay, a regression is a modification. So in some instances, like kind of saying a modification is it's kind of, I don't want to say it's bad, but I try not to say modification because a student may think, it's a modification that you're talking down to them. So I always call it a regression. So if there's a student that struggles with push-up, a regression for the push-up could be to do the push-up on your knees. Or if you want to have a progression for, say, a squat, if you have a student that's really proficient in squat, you can have the student jump instead of just doing the basic air squat. Any other questions, Jonathan?
No, not so far.
Okay. All right, so the second part of the warm-up, we're still on warm-up, you can address other standards, or you can reinforce previously taught skills still during your warm-up. So on the left, I reinforced our dribbling unit. So instead of doing a burpee, a kid would come in, they would pick up a ball. So they would dribble 5 times with their right hand. 10 times with their right, 10 times with their left. Still do those push-ups, still do jumping jacks, and then they take their ball and they dribble 1 lap. Now, as they're doing the dribbling, you can provide the feedback that needs to be provided to reinforce what you've already taught as far as dribbling goes. On the right, the top exercise was just toss and catch. So I use this during our catching unit. So same thing, same concept. Kids come in, they get a ball, whichever ball that suits their ability, they're tossing and catching 10 times. Then they move through the exercises, they jog 1 lap, and they repeat that same sequence just like they would any other part of the warm-up. Now, if you notice to the right over here, I also included the component of fitness in there, which I'm going to explain in the next slide. So again, we're still addressing those fitness concepts during the warm-ups. And I said before that boot camp can be used to teach the components of fitness. We always want to explain why are you doing this exercise that I have posted up here on the board. So here, if you notice, I have 5 ski jumps. So Mr. Hatcher, why are we doing ski jumps? Well, we're doing ski jumps to improve your cardiovascular endurance. Mr. Hatcher, why do you have us climbing the wall? Well, I have you using the rock wall because I want to improve your muscular strength and your muscular endurance. And lastly, Mr. Hatcher, why do you have me jogging 1 lap? Well, I want to improve your cardiovascular endurance. So again, as I said, this slide shows you how I took just the basic warm-up. Kids were practicing catch, so I reinforced the throwing and catching. standard, and I also was able to address the standard of learning the components of fitness. So my next step was to take the fitness concepts and put those into a game experience. Boot camps, normally when I teach, there's a game. We do games. We want to build camaraderie and just create an enjoyable experience. People have a lot of fun when they get to play games. Kids have a lot of fun when they get to play games, and you kind of disguise the exercise because they're having so much fun playing the games. So I've incorporated these boot camp games into my class, but I've changed them and modified them to fit within my class. So you'll see in the next slide some of the games I've used. I've created a fitness tag game called Snail Race. We have a plank relay. Kids like to run, they like to do sprints, and so forth. So I'll take you here. First game that I've used is fitness tag. I do this all the time. In regular boot camps, anytime there's some kind of tag game, the penalty is always you have to, go to the side and do burpees. So I wanted to take this to another level. So if you get tagged in Mr. Hatcher's fitness tag game, there's 4 different exercises that you have to do. So if you see in this picture, I have a little visual. You pick several students to be it. So the students that have the red ball, if they tag you while you're running, you have to go to an area, do 5 jumping jacks. If a student with the orange ball tags you, you have to go to an area, do 5 push-ups. Blue ball tags you, you have to hold a plank for 5 seconds. And if the green ball tags you, you have to do a curl up for 5 seconds. So as I said before, I became more purposeful in incorporating the exercises that are used or assessed during our fitness gram. So you see the push-ups are in there. The plank is also in there to help that upper body strength. And I have the curl-ups in there. So again, students are chasing you, trying to tag you. You have to perform that exercise and you come back in the game, switch taggers every couple seconds. So in this next slide, here's how it's set up. There's an area for jumping jacks, area for push-ups. I have the curl-up mats and the plank. And if you look on the curl-up mats, where I'm still reinforcing the form, where to put your hands and how they have to slide from the top of the tape to the bottom. I'm reinforcing that form because that's what I'll be assessing, shortly after that. So again, as you see, the cones match the ball. I have the visuals, everything's there to help the students understand what they are supposed to do during this game. So more games. To the left, I have Snail Race. I know there's a lot there. You'll be able to read this later, but I'll explain it real quickly to you. Like I said, I'll organize the kids in squads. You can give them any set of exercises. I put here jumping jacks, squats, and a burpee. So each kid is working individually, but they're also working as a team. So the students will have to perform that set of exercises. And then on the floor in front of them, there will be 2 cones. The cones represent their snail, okay? So once one student completes that set of exercises, they'll go to the cones. They'll move the cone that's in the back to the front. And they will keep going, completing those sets until their snail keeps moving. You can have it go for a certain distance or you can have it go for a certain time. So that's how that exercise works. To the right, there's several variations of a plank relay. A lot of people do them in a circle. I still do this one in squads, and everyone is moving. So students are in the squad, take one student from the line, you put them on the opposite end of the play area. So the students that are at the beginning of the line, you can have them do jumping jacks, you can have them do any exercise. And the student on the far end holds a plank. So you'll have a kid from the start of the line, they'll run down, they'll switch places with the person that's holding the plank, they'll go into a plank, and it keeps going back and forth. Question, Jonathan.
Yes. So would your games be a part of your warm-up, or would it be in so would it be in concert with other exercises? So you would do your games along with your push-ups, your burpees, or would you just do a solo boot camp warm-up with just your games?
Good question. So this could work either way. You can just do a solo warm-up with the game, or you can extend it. Now, I have an hour for class. So what I typically do is I like I do the warm-up before, have the kids jog, do the locomotor skills, then second, they do what's on the board. And then since they're already in their squads, we can go into an activity like this. But as I said, it's totally up to you. You can do your own warm up, teach your own lesson, and then incorporate one of these activities as the game or as the extension to your lesson. For example, the snail race cannot, it doesn't have to always be used during boot camp. The snail race can be used in your first week. Say you're doing team building and cooperation, snail race could be used there. Plank relay, if you're trying to reinforce push-up technique, you can use the plank relay there. So doesn't always have to be used in warm-up. It could be used outside of the warm-up as well. So the third step, again, you could use this as a warm-up, or use it to teach your fitness concept. So a typical boot camp has a circuit. Your participants move through circuits. Sometimes each exercise lasts for 1 minute, 15 seconds. For your kids, you can take any combination of exercise or activities depending on your space, and you can create a circuit for your students. So here's a quick circuit that I've used. Had students bear crawl and then jump over an obstacle like a pool noodle. Again, I keep reinforcing fitness gram. We have push-ups, curl-ups, shuttle run, mimics, the pacer. I've been blessed to have a climbing wall in my gym, so I do a lot of activities on the climbing wall. And you want to have some flexibility activities in there. And lastly, the stations last for the amount of time that you want them to last, and you have the students rotate on your command. So here's some pictures. Here's a sign of the jump over and bear crawl. I couldn't really get a good picture over here of the students, but there's the pool noodles on the floor. Question?
Yes. So we have a comment in the Tazzle about people are having difficulty seeing your screen. So if you want to, in order to remedy this, you have to stop sharing your screen.
Okay. Okay.
And then go ahead and reshare it again. We'll see if that fixes it. Okay.
We're good?
Yep.
Okay. So station examples, again, here's the jump over and the bear crawl. I just take just chart paper and write and explain what the students have to do. So here on the right, they're jumping over the noodle. They're bear crawling as well. Second, here's the rock wall. They climb the rock wall. They get down off the rock wall. They just do one burpee. And then to the right, again, more burpees. As I said before, you can take any exercises, any combination of things you want to do, and include them in your circuits. So assessment is also very important. Here's my assessment. I use this frequently. It's just a quick exit slip. I have just 2 questions on here. At the end of the class, you know, we wrap it up, give the kids 2 questions, and just gives you a good gauge on, you know, what you're doing. If the students can answer these questions correctly, they're really straightforward. If they can answer these questions, then, you know, you're doing what you're supposed to do. If they're not, you know, if they can't answer these questions, then, you know, you have to go back and reflect and make some adjustments to what you're doing. Do we have any other questions, Jonathan?
Well, we had a comment in our Tassel
Okay.
about a different fitness game that you can also try as part of your boot camp, and it is plank hockey, where students and partners face each other in the plank position, and when they're in the plank position, their arms are the goalposts, and then they use the beanbag to try to score goals by sliding it between their partner's arms. So that might be also a good game to try as a fitness activity. And thank you so much for sharing that, Tassel.
Yes. And as I said before, you can break your students into partners. The plank hockey is an awesome game. You can also take, from my previous slides when I did the warm up and I had the first couple exercises, the students could work together as partners, and they can also do the warm up that way. Any other questions on there, JJ?
For your assessment and exit slips, you know, we always hear about the need to use our assessments to drive our instruction. So using the data that you get from the exit slips to really inform your next lesson. So do you do that with your exit slips? And if you do, how do you manage that?
So good question. As I said, so I would take this information here, and so for example, number 1, if students are saying that running laps is going to improve your muscular strength, then I know that I need to go back in the next lesson and explain and practice the concept of muscular strength more. Again, cardiovascular endurance. If the students say stretching will improve their cardiovascular endurance, if a large majority of them are saying that, then you know that maybe I didn't explain something somewhere, or you know, the kids misunderstood. So then I would have to go back, take that data, like you said, and explain that concept even more.
And another great question we have from our Tassel participants is, have you let your students actually create their own bootcamp workout? And if so, how were the results?
Actually, I did last year with 5th grade. Had an exercise bank, and I had just several exercises, and wasn't actually like the whole boot camp workout. It was more the warm up. The kids were able to put their exercises together and create their own warm up. So what you have to do if you do something like that is you have to have parameters. So you have to say you need to include one exercise to that addresses muscular strength. You have to have one exercise that improves cardiovascular endurance. So they know like they can't do all push-ups. There has to be some other component in there that has to be addressed. So yes, great question.
Excellent. Also, what is the lowest grade level that you use your boot camp format with?
I use it with the lowest is 3rd grade. I don't think any grade below that is ready. I mean, you can do some of the concepts, but I try to stick with 3rd on up, because they can handle what I'm presenting to them.
Nice. And I see you added some of your resources to Tozzle. Do you want to just explain those real quick?
Yes. So I have this PowerPoint in there, and then if you click on the warm-up examples, I took what I did in the first slide, and I created examples for you. So I'll go back to that first slide. That's right here. So I took and I created examples for you to use in your class. Forget how many are in there. I think I made like 5. But you can mix and match and change the order. And like I said before, I tried to make it where the exercises addressed several components of fitness. They also were able to address major muscle groups in your body. There's some jogging for cardiovascular running laps, also some jump rope incorporated in there as well.
Nice. And I know I've had questions about the AMRAP. For those who joined our session a little bit later, can you explain what AMRAP means?
Yes. AMRAP just means as many repetitions as possible. So if you're doing a particular round for 5 minutes, you're trying to do as many reps of each of those exercises as you can in that time. If we go a step further into like middle school curriculum or standards, there's where you can address that concept of overload, because you're essentially overloading your muscles, and that's how you would improve your strength, and improve your overall health by overloading your muscles during that time.
Excellent.
And just lastly, here's my email address on here if you want to get in contact with me. And my Twitter handle is also on there as well, mhatcher_PE. If you want to get in contact with me, I'm always taking pictures and sharing these things on there during the course of the school year. If you have anything that you want to share with me as well, as far as what you're doing with boot camps, you can share it as well.
Awesome. So we have come to the end of our session. I just want to remind you that everything will be available in the Tazo link, so in that conference program. Once we end this session, the session will be archived in that Tazo link. It will also be archived on the Physipedagogy YouTube channel, which, as will all the other videos from this year's Phys Ed Summit. If you would like to also fill out our feedback survey, our feedback survey gives us a lot of valuable information so that we can continue to make the Phys Ed Summit fit your needs. So I will add in a link of the feedback survey into the Tazo. I'll also tweet it out. And you can also find it on the Physipedagogy website. Again, your feedback is very valuable for us to continue to produce the Phys Ed Summit and just to make it fit your needs. Once you fill out the Phys Ed Summit feedback survey, you will receive a certificate of completion, signifying that you have participated in the 2016 Phys Ed Summit. So that's all we have for you. We still have 8 more hours of great PD left in our Phys Ed Summit 2016, so stay tuned. And if you missed anything that happened earlier today, all the sessions are archived. Again, it is on the Physipedagogy YouTube channel and in all the Tazo links available to you in the conference program. So thank you for tuning in, and hopefully that we gave you something that you can take and incorporate in your classroom whenever you return to your classroom. So thank you for coming.
Thank you.